Hello again. We're ready now for part 3, how to use Irish moss in raw food. And for all you chocolate lovers, we're going to make the raw chocolate pudding using the Irish moss paste that we made in part 2 of the video series. So what you're going to need today is you're going to need, of course, the Irish moss paste, which should be kept in the fridge and dated, some almond milk, cacao powder, agave nectar, coconut oil, a blender, spatula, as well as either some dessert bowls if you're going to be serving this up later in the day or whenever you decide you're going to make it, and or a large glass bowl to store it in so you can scoop out the pudding as much as you require. So let's get started. So this recipe calls for half a cup of Irish moss. Now remember, I use a 16-ounce jar, so there's actually 4 half cups in here. So I'm just going to actually, forgot that I overfilled this one. So I'm just going to use a quarter of the paste, maybe a little bit more. You don't have to be bang on. You can see it's making a mess there, which is fine. And I'm pouring that into the blender, by the way. Now I'm going to take a cup of almond milk. Now I make my own almond milk, and I will do a video on how to make your own nut milk. It's very easy, and I've actually already added vanilla in here. If you don't have almond milk with vanilla, you can use an almond. Put some vanilla in the recipe. 1 vanilla bean or a teaspoon of the powder. Add that to the blender. I'm also going to add cacao raw chocolate powder. And I've got about, well, recipe calls for half a cup. I'm actually going to put just over half a cup because I like that chocolatey taste. My sweetener that I'm going to be using is agave. You can use any other sweetener of choice, so don't feel like you have to go out and get it. Or it is a diabetic friendly sweetener. It's very easy to use. I'm going to use half a cup of the agave. I'm going to pour that into the blender. And the last recipe, part of the recipe, is the coconut oil. I have here a quarter cup of melted coconut oil. I'm going to pour that in. The reason I melt it is that it won't harden with the other cold ingredients as quickly, so it's much more easier to mix. Now what I'm going to do is turn the blender on. Here we go again. Remember the last video? But it won't take that long, and if you've got it, you're going to need a spatula possibly to scrape down the sides. I'm going to turn that on, and I don't feel like I need to go any higher. Oh, it's already starting to blend, and it's thickening. The Vitamix comes with a plunger, so it's easier to scrape down the sides as you're mixing. Once I get some of the cacao powder that's stuck to the side off, I will increase the speed of the pudding, the mixture. And the reason I'm increasing the speed is that it'll make it thicker. So this is a little bit runny, however, which is fine because it makes it easier to pour out so you don't have to scoop it out. When you actually go to add it into the dessert bowls or a glass, a glass bowl like this, and you put it in the fridge, it will thicken. Okay? I always like to lick the that is yummy and very chocolatey. Once you try this, you are not going to want Jell-O pudding anymore because this is really delicious. You can see as I'm pouring it out, look how chocolatey it is. Now it is this is easier to pour out this way. Oh, yummy. My husband's, I don't think I'm going to be able to last that long. Now what I'm going to do And by the way, you can adjust the sweetener according to taste. I use half a cup of agave because most people have a little bit, well, especially if they're first starting with raw, like the sweetness of it. But as you get more into the raw food, you're not going to require your desserts to be as sweet. So if I wasn't making this as for the video, I would only use a quarter cup of agave because I like the richness of the dark chocolate and not so much the sweetness. So here you go. I'm going to put this in the fridge. I'm going to leave this in there for about a couple hours until it's ready to set, and then it'll thicken up. You can top this with some cacao nibs, some fruit, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, whatever your heart desires. So I just let you know that all the ingredients that I just listed today are available at our store at the Vitamin House. We're located in North Nanaimo at Canadian Tire Plaza, or you can contact us via Facebook at facebook.com/thevitaminhouse, and we're also available on Twitter at twitter.com/thevitaminhouse. You can call the store at 250-390-9275. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions. I hope you enjoyed this 3-part video series on Irish moss, and I hope you're less intimidated about using the product, and I encourage you to try it out. You might actually like it as much as I do. And great health, everybody. Thanks for watching.